Hello and welcome back to Umineko!
Welcome back.
We're back, yeah. Load.
So true.
I keep almost accidentally just pressing start. Load. I need to remember to press load. Alright.
Fuck you, we're starting from the beginning again.
Yeah, this entire time. I was starting with
Oh
you.
no. Quite an entertaining scheme. Well then, what are the conditions they've attached? Well, whether or not Kraus-sama actually discovers the gold, he'll pay Eva-sama, Rudolph-sama, and Rosa-sama a total of 7.5 billion yen for their shares. However, 10% of that will be paid before March. Kraus, you dunce. To think he would have his feet swept out from under him by his younger siblings. How truly amusing. But it sounds as though they tripped when going in for the kill, yes? Yes. Cross-sama exposed the fact that Eva-sama and their younger siblings all have an urgent need to get money. Is there any need to expose such obvious facts? That irresolute, incompetent man. What are they doing now? That conversation has been put on hold for the time being. Now, Beatrice-sama's epitaph is being discussed. So they're trying to solve the riddle and find out where my gold is hidden. Yes.
Kinzo set down his spectacles and snorted.
Will the miracle be fulfilled first, or will those fools expose the gold first? What a show this will be. At the very moment those fools solve my puzzle, I will suffer utter defeat. They can suck my corpse down to the last fragment of bone. The greed of fools can allow great magic to bring forth the miracle. And yet, if the fulfillment of the miracle comes first, if it comes first, Beatrice will be resurrected again. The smile I've been chasing half my life will be restored. Oh, Beatrice. Soon will come the sacred night when we shall bet upon a miracle, and the game of demons shall begin. I will surely prove triumphant and survive. I'll let you have the lives of all those others. I don't need wealth or honor or assets or gold or anything. All I want to see is your smile one last time.
Kinzo choked, apparently in great pain. Kanon got closer and tried to pat his master's back, but Kinzo motioned for him to stop.
Do you know why I went to the trouble of exposing the hidden location of a gold in a place that everyone can see? No? It is because magical power is determined by risk. If the number of people who try to discover Beatrice's gold is great, and the danger of them succeeding is great as well, then the power of magic will...
But
It's all good. Then the power of magic will bring about a grand miracle if we succeed despite the odds. In other words, magic is a game. It is not the case that the one who performs the best becomes the victor. The victor performs the best because he has been granted magic. Do you see? It is similar to how the miracle of life can be granted only after winning against the divine odds of several 100 million to 1. Is this a little difficult for you? My apologies.
I just think you're spitting crazy shit.
Yeah, this is how everyone is with Kinzo. That's fine. It all comes down to this. I will give all that I have built up to the one who solves the mystery of Beatrice's epitaph. Wealth, honor, gold, and the inheritance of the Yoshiromiya family, everything that I have established. My children certainly aren't the only ones with the right to attempt to solve this riddle. Anyone who solves the riddle will have the right to gain everything, even you. Yes. However, I couldn't possibly understand such a difficult riddle. Of course. I made it difficult. But you must try to solve it as well. That will form the seed that summons the miracle of my magic. If everyone attempts it and everyone fails, that will be that. However, if the miracles come together and give birth to magical power, it will happen. Beatrice will revive. That is why you must attempt it too. Everyone must attempt it. And in so doing, they will give strength to my magic. Do you understand? Yes. I will try.
For a long while, Kinzo repeatedly muttered to himself, agitated and clutching at his head. Cannon stayed where he was, alert and unmoving, until he was given the next order from his master. Kinzo eventually realized this.
Very well. Leave me. There's a bag of sweets on the liquor cabinet. You can take some with you as a reward. I'm fine. After all, I am furniture. So furniture doesn't eat sweets. Well, I suppose it stands to reason. In that case, leave me. Yes. Excuse me.
Cannon bowed and left the study. As the door closed, a heavy locking noise sounded out. But it was not the sound of Cannon locking the door. It was the door locking automatically. No one could enter without Kinzo's permission, and once they left, they could not enter again. It was a mechanism that Kinzo, unable to trust his blood relatives, had created to seal himself up in his own study and isolate himself from the outside world. He was already unable to trust anyone excepting not the children who shared his blood, but those servants who called themselves furniture. Boy, I'm here. Oh, I'm talking to myself. Nanja-sama, how are you feeling? Oh, Genji-san. Oh, it's just that there's no place for me to be anymore. With a bitter laugh, Nanjo turned to face the door to the parlor. That look was apparently enough to tell Genji what Nanjo wanted to say. For the most part, Genji also understood the family's situation. It must have made him want to frown, knowing that right now in the lounge, the master he served was being discussed so disrespectfully. But it would have been very difficult to gather that from his indifferent expression. Still, I don't understand. Why did Kinzo-san have something so provocative written, I wonder? Nanjo looked at the portrait of Beatrice. No, he actually directed his gaze beneath the portrait, at the plate with the epitaph. I do not presume to understand the master's thoughts. However, I'm sure he had a deep reason for doing so. Since long ago, when Kinzo-san played chess, he would always prepare his moves according to some far-reaching judgment. Yes, sometimes even to moves I couldn't understand. For an average person like me, it was impossible to see through whatever it was he was planning. Sometimes I wonder if this might be some kind of will in the Master's eyes. Perhaps he wishes to hand over his wealth and title to the one who can understand it. So you're thinking that he may have wanted the four siblings to work together and solve the riddle, before some outsider like myself solved it. Kinzo-san may speak of his children in insulting terms, but perhaps he also wants them to repair their relationship. It certainly would be heartwarming if, as Nanjo had suggested, this epitaph had been made to repair the siblings' relationship. However, both Nanjo and Genji knew that nothing could be more impossible than this. They'd known Kinzo longer than anyone, and Kinzo trusted them more than his own relatives. But even they could not guess at his true motives. The Master always says that everyone has a right to try and solve the riddle, even if they aren't a member of his family. What about you, Dr. Nanjo? No. It's a little too difficult a puzzle for the senile old man. Actually, I once wrote this epitaph down on my notebook. Night after night, I would try to solve it before going to sleep. But it really is hard. It looks like we might have some free time to relax and consider it before someone comes to get us. What do you say, Genji-san? I am nothing more than furniture and service to the Master. Gold and assets are unnecessary to me. Why, you're very modest. I imagine that's why Kinzo-san trusts you so much. If so, I am honored. As Nanjo lightly laughed in response, he once again looked at the epitaph. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the Golden Land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. The epitaph on the portrait called My Beloved Witch Beatrice goes as follows. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the Golden Land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. As you travel down it, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. There sleeps the key to the Golden Land. The one who obtains the key must then travel to the Golden Land in accordance with these rules. On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices. On the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. On the third twilight, those who remain shall praise my noble name. On the fourth twilight, gouge the head and kill. On the fifth twilight, gouge the chest and kill. On the sixth twilight, gouge the stomach and kill. On the seventh twilight, gouge the knee and kill. On the 8th twilight, gouge the leg and kill. On the 9th twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. On a 10th twilight, at journey's end, you shall attain to the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once and for the last time. The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. One shall be all the gold from the Golden Land. One shall be the resurrection of all the dead souls. One shall be the resurrection of the love that was lost. One shall be to put the witch to sleep for all time. Sleep peacefully, my beloved witch Beatrice. I can't wait for that riddle to get, actually solved, because, to me, it just sounds like a way how to summon the witch. It just sounds like how to summon Beatrice. You know?
I know.
I've told you my problems with this riddle before. So, on the 10th twilight, the journey ends, and you reach the Golden Land. You really are diligent, Maria. You did a good job writing this all down.
Ooh, I forget a lot, so I always write things down.
Mama told me to.
There was a notebook inside the handbag Maria was always carrying around, and Beatrice's epitaph was copied onto it. Thanks to that, we were all able to challenge the puzzle of the epitaph while walking down this beach. Jessica and the rest had already tried to solve it several times, and had already gotten bored with it. However, since this was a first for me, I was so excited that I couldn't stop. It really tickled my sense of adventure. Let's start with the first line. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. Where was grandfather's hometown again? I heard that before the war, the Ushiromiya family had a mansion near Odawara, which makes you want to know which Sweetfish River flows through Odawara, right?
Objection!
That's the head family's house, not he was a distant branch family. I got a soundboard. Yeah, because that river would be the starting place. Anyone searching for the Golden Land would head down that and search for the key. What's this river in Odawara? Does it have sweetfish swimming in it? If you're looking for sweetfish in Odawara, it'd have to be Hayakawa. It's famous for its mountain stream fishing.
I hate fish.
Rahel, you'll understand when you get a bit older. Lick, 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 salty roasted sweetfish. Yummy. Even though we just ate, I'm getting hungry again.
So true. Shall I bring you a biscuit?
Ah! Where the fuck did you come from? Huh? Oh, sorry, that's not what I meant. Don't mind it. Shannon-chan was faithfully keeping us company since she didn't have any afternoon chores for a while. I would have thought that, since she's a servant, accompanying us would force her to take care of us and tire her out, but that didn't seem to be the case for her. On the contrary, she seemed to enjoy joining in on the conversation with people close to her age. When I asked, I heard that she was the sort of worker whose room and board were supplied by her employer. So normally, the only person close to her in age was Jessica. Yeah, I can imagine how that might be pretty dull. Okay, so I get that the sweet fish-filled river near Odawara is Hayakawa. In that case, we've got to go down it. Do you find anything if you head down Hayakawa River?
If you follow it downstream, you'll arrive at the ocean.
Of course, you'd reach the mouth of the river. And the third line of the epitaph was, as you travel down it, you'll see a village. By the way, since long ago the mouths of rivers have been key points in transportation and large cities tend to be built there. Just a quick little flex of his knowledge. That'd be the next checkpoint. That's a pretty good theory. Just like you guessed, there's an old city there that was very prosperous in ancient times. And that's where Odawara Castle is.
I think I might have gone to Odawara Castle on a field trip once. It really was a wonderful castle.
What field trip?
She went to school.
Did she?
Yeah, she was just pulled out early for servant duties.
Okay. Yeah, I also went there. Even though I live in a Western-style house, it's true that Japanese people feel calmer with a Japanese layout.
Ooh, castles are boring. Theme parks are better. Ooh.
I see. Okay. If we find the gold, the great battler someone will generously reserve a whole theme park for a day and let you play in it. Still, Odawara Castle, huh? The hidden gold of Odawara Castle. Oh! It's actually starting to sound pretty good! Well, we figured that much 2 years ago. The village down the river where the sweetfish swim in Odawara, we figured it was probably somewhere near Odawara Castle. The problem is the next line. Okay, let's see where Battler's strange reasoning can take him. Jessica grinned broadly. She seemed to be implying that she would have solved the puzzle long ago if it was that easy. Damn it. I'll definitely find it and keep it all for myself. The fourth line. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. I don't know what it means by the two, but anyway, the shore. Hold on, I have an idea of what it means by the two. Hold on, let me look it up and make sure I'm right.
tear apart the two who are close.
Oh. I mean, yeah, that too. You know what? Yeah, that might actually more than likely be it. But I remember that uh there's some sort of mythical creature in Japanese myth that like are always in pairs of two.
Oh, okay.
I want to say it's the Shisa, but I don't believe that's true. I'm I'm not completely sure that's true. So don't quote me on it.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm looking that up right now.
Um yeah, I
Oh,
believe
they come from the the
Okinawa.
foo dogs, which are,
Oh, yeah, that too.
yeah. Um, and foo dogs are actually based on chow chows.
Aw.
They definitely do look a little bit like that. They're very interesting animals.
Um but no, if I remember correctly, I can't like you'd think I'd find it quickly, but I can't really. But like for some reason, something in my head is like telling me that they're always in pairs. I don't know if I'm mixing that up with something else though.
Well, I I guess they usually would be in pairs.
Um, all right, sorry. I got distracted by unearthing this flawed from the start puzzle. Because my thought was, oh, if it is Shisa, like if I am remembering that correctly, a castle is likely to have some sort of Shisa statue, right?
I don't think um, it was in Okinawa or the Okinawa prefecture.
Yeah.
It's in Odawara, which is, I think I looked up where it is before, but um, it says Central Japan.
Okay.
So yeah.
Ugh. What does it mean by the shore? No, wait. Is there any place near there with shore or kishi in its name?
Um, I've heard there's a place called Sogakishi in Odawara.
Huh? Wow! You should know a lot about it. what could that mean? Shannon-chan, are you trying to solve the riddle and get the gold too? That makes us rivals.
It's not like I'm interested in gold.
If you were wondering what that slapping sound, it was me hitting my fist like I was in like, well, if we're rivals.
It's just that George-sama told me about it before.
That's because we reached the same conclusion 2 years ago. We even went to the trouble of laying out a map and looking it up. But we're rich, so it's not like we can just fly there. It was about 5 kilometers to the north of Odawara. We definitely found a place called Sogakishi there. However, after that we get stuck. The fifth line doesn't say where the key is in that place. Bria-chan, could you read it for us?
Ooh, there sleeps the key to the Golden Land. Ooh, I could read it.
Sogakichi is probably large, and there wasn't ever any house built there by the Ushiromiya family. Not much we can do to find a key in such a vast area without any hints. You're right. Without the key, we can't advance to the next line. George Aniki, what kind of place is Sogakishi? Let's see. I've never been there, so I don't really know, but according to the map, it's in the mountains. I'm pretty sure it's at the base of Azuma. Something doesn't feel right. You'd expect a riddle pointing the way to the hidden goal to be a bit more exact. I get the feeling that even the part about Sogekishi was a mistake. Well, I think it could be Sogekishi. It could be talking about some house that grandfather lived in when he was a kid that we don't know about. After all, the first line mentioned his beloved hometown. Shannon, you served grandfather alcohol and stuff lots of times, right? Has he ever talked to you about his past?
The master almost never speaks of the past. However, he talks of the Great Kanto earthquake as though it was someone else's story. So he may have been living far away from the Kanto area.
The Ushiromiya family may have been living in Odawara, but not all of the branch families were. Grandfather often called himself part of a branch family. The least connected to the successor. And that means the beloved hometown might not even be Odawara at all. I've never heard anything about grandfather's hometown, and I doubt he'd actually tell me if I asked. If the so-called beloved hometown isn't referring to the Ushiromiya family's roots, then the Odawara theory is wrong from the beginning. Almost like I fucking said. Of course, it doesn't completely remove the possibility that it was Sogekishi. For example, perhaps he lived in Odawara when he was very young, but then moved far away later.
I don't understand what you're all talking about.
So
Ooh.
fucking real, Maria. I have no goddamn clue either. Maria had been completely left out of the conversation, as she now sat puffing out her cheeks in boredom. Shit, give me a second. I'm getting a drink. Oh god.
So, everyone.
I'm still here!
Okay.
I'm just slightly off camera if there was a camera looking at me. If this channel had face cam, I'd be slightly off it. Alright, so basically... Oh, beans! Ah, shit!
Umineko fucking died.
Umineko fucking died! We can't even agree on the starting point for this dice game of gold. We're totally stuck. But wait... After the first 5 lines, the thing we end up finding is a key, right? Even if you don't have a key, it's always possible to bust through a door. Fuck yeah, it is, Battler! Kick that shit down, pick a fucking lock? It's the 80s! Locks now aren't that good. I can only imagine how shit they are in the 80s. You ever see people like picking locks on like TikTok or something, and they always
Yes, I do.
Just easily just like a bam bam open it. It's like, man, we trust these things?
Yep.
Can we just skip the first 5 lines and start figuring out the rest? This is my big problem with the riddle, which I hope I get to eat my fucking words about here. My big thing about the riddle is like, all right, you go to that fucking village, you find the key, then you gotta go to the Golden Land with these rules. Start killing people. I don't get that.
What don't you get?
It's just, it seems like a pretty shit riddle if spoilers? Well, not really spoilers, because clearly shit's going to happen when you see this fucking riddle. It's like, but like, skip ahead a minute or so if you don't want to hear this. But like, this
you can
happened.
Put the timestamp in the description or
yeah, if I remember.
Or on the screen.
If the viewers are lucky. But like, this happens anyway, even if they don't get to the key. Like, no matter what, these killings start happening. That's what gets me. It just seems like the beginning of the riddle just seems like a way to know the first six to know who the first six are to be killed. Which I guess you could say is like a way of preventing them getting killed. But like, the riddle is like, hey, you gotta follow these rules. Okay, sorry. Back to me complaining about pedantics aside. God, Kinzo would hate me.
Kinzo would hate most people.
I mean, yeah, but I'd be banging on his door, like, what the fuck what does this mean? Hold on, I need clarification here. Ooh, I hadn't thought of that. Oh well, we're just wasting time anyway. Let's hear the rest of Battler's reasoning.
But in the next part, it gets dark really fast.
Shit hits the fan fast. Shannon frowned slightly, after looking back at Maria's notebook to recall what was written there. Yeah, I was forced to agree. On the first twilight offers the six chosen by the key as sacrifices. It sure does get horrible quickly. On the second twilight, it says to tear apart the two who are close. Does that mean to make them break off their loving relationship? Or does it mean to literally tear them apart? I don't know, but either way, it's pretty disgusting. Even if we set that second line aside and mention 6 people for the first twilight, then 5 people for the 4th through 8th twilights, at least 11 people must be sacrificed. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
There are 18 people on the island.
Yeah, so 7 people live at the end. I don't know. I don't know if that's ever gonna actually be acknowledged.
Ooh, their sacrifices to revive Beatrice.
Maria, you know how fucked up that sounds, right?
What are you talking about?
You know, this sounds like the fucking Abraham and Isaac sort of thing, you know?
Yeah, it does.
I see. Sacrifices to restore the witch. Yeah, that's what it'd mean. Near the end, the witch will be arrived on the 9th twilight. That last part is guaranteed.
On the 9th twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. So everyone will die in the end.
And after that, the 10th twilight is the goal line. Not sure how you're supposed to reach the golden land if everyone's dead by then. Depending on how you interpret it, the traveler who holds the key may or may not be included in the none shall be left alive part. But at the end, there's something pretty interesting. After reaching the goal, the witch gives out 4 treasures. One shall be all the gold. The problem is the next one. It says the dead souls will be resurrected, right? Doesn't it sound like it means everyone who died in their earlier lines?
If you put it like that, then the part about reviving lost love might refer to the pair torn apart on the second twilight.
That's right. And the 4th one refers to the 9th twilight. The 4th treasure is put in the witch revived on the 9th twilight to sleep. If we put a happy spin on all this, it'll be hectic with people dying and breaking up all over the place. But it'll all be made right in the end. The awakened witch will sleep again and everything will be like it was at the start except with a huge pile of gold. The witch must be pretty busy what with all the killing, reviving, breaking up, and reuniting people. Not to mention waking up and sleeping. I'm bad at doing fake laughs. Sheesh. Just when the tale of the hidden gold is getting interesting, it all gets pretty dubious once the witch starts showing up. Too true. I laughed along with Jessica. After all, the idea of a witch was just too ridiculous. Of course, once we started laughing like that, Maria, who believed in the witch, got angry.
Ugh, the witch is incredible. She can do anything with magic. Even kill. Even bring back to life. Even give love. Even take it. She can fly in the sky. Can become invisible. Can even make gold and bread out of nothing. Ugh, 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 ugh.
Maria. Valor crouches down and puts his hand on her shoulder. Here, actually. Maria. Even if that was true, I'd still kick her ass.
Yeah, what powers do you have, Battler?
The power of these fists. The power to throw these fucking hands. I don't care how powerful of a wizard you are. At the end of the day, I don't think you can perfectly counter these fucking hands, you know?
What if there was magic to take away these hands?
Then that guy to fucking headbutt and start kicking. What I'm saying is, Harry Potter would have been a lot better if Harry just broke his wand and started punching people, you know?
Well, I've never read it or watched the films.
I watched the films. I read some of it
Unwatch
too.
them.
Did you say you want to watch them?
I said unwatch them.
Oh. I did like the movies because it had less of J.K. Rowling's dirty myths all over it. And it had more Daniel Radcliffe, and I love me some Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh yeah, he's pretty cool.
But no, Harry Potter is such a franchise.
Yeah.
People just now finding out that she's transphobic are dumb because we know a character
People also are just now realizing that she's anti-Semitic and racist and misogynistic.
Yeah, which is wild.
And probably ableist and anti-black.
It's wild because did you even read the books or watch the movies even? But in the books,
yeah, you just skimmed through all the other bigoted stuff.
Yeah, through the books. This is something I got this a while ago. I was like, yeah, J.K. Rowling's transphobic, and then everyone was like, oh my god, she's a TERF, and I was like, yeah, I know, because there's a character in the book. I don't think she's in the movie, called Rita Skeeter, who is a reporter trying to get scoops on Harry and the gang, who constantly is J.K. Rowling constantly describes her manly hands, which, if you're a trans woman and ever have to deal with a transphobe before, they always go for your hands. Always.
That's
always,
so odd.
Always, because it's oh, it's because of your knuckles or whatever the fuck. They always go for your hands. And also, she illegally changes her body to spy on children. That's a plot point in the book.
Oh.
We know she's transphobic. You didn't read the fucking book.
I'm thinking about the hands thing. That's so weird. So you've seen my hands, right?
Yeah.
I have what some would call probably very masculine hands.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's such bullshit.
I was born with hands like this.
It's like borderline phrenology, you know?
Yeah.
Where it's completely made of bullshit
maybe I'm not a good example, but still, you know.
No, you're totally right. When I came out to my grandma, she used my hands against me.
Well, you can't transition because of your hands?
No, it's she was 100 years from now when they find your skeleton, they're gonna look in your hands and know you're a man, or something like that. It's such a stupid reasoning. It's so fucking dumb.
They don't even solidly determine sex by hands.
Yeah.
It's an approximation.
Exactly.
Or not hands, sorry, bones. It's always an
Bas-
approximation. They usually try and tell what the gender of the person was by their environment and how they were buried, what they were buried with, and whatever.
yeah, that's the thing. Basically, anytime anytime any sort of bigot tries to use biology, they almost 100% have no fucking clue what they're talking about. And even
It's
if they
basic
do, they
biology.
completely misunderstand it.
Yeah, it's basic biology. Okay, go take advanced biology.
Exactly. It's just. Anyway, back to Umineko.
This is so relevant.
What do you mean? Does this come up in Umineko?
I'm trying to think.
It'd be so funny if they try if like
Well,
there's a part where like there's a skeleton left and they're trying to figure out who it is by looking at their bones.
yeah, I don't think that happened, but I just see fans can't really talk about it, but
Hmm.
I just see fans being transphobic, or I'm told about fans being transphobic,
Yeah.
and
This is a good time to say, if you're transphobic, go fuck yourself. I don't want you here.
and pay us $100 each.
Yeah, pay us $100 each and go fuck yourself. Because here's a fun fact. I'm
If you didn't if you
trans.
didn't click if you didn't click off already,
I'm a trans woman. I'm transgender.
I'm also transgender.
So, like, here's a fun fact. If you're a prick, if you're just a bigoted asshole, go fuck yourself. I don't want you here.
You know, if you haven't already clicked off the video.
Yeah. Anyway, dang. My bad. We were just joking. Jessica apologized, sticking out her tongue, but Maria didn't accept it. She grabbed her notebook back out of my hands and opening it to some other pages tried to prove that the witch existed. Those pages had colorful drawings of witches on them, and all well conveyed the fantastical image Maria had of witches. It wasn't the normal sinister image of a crooked-nosed hag flying around on a broom, but a dreamlike person with unnatural powers who could do anything and wore a beautiful dress. It was just what you'd expect from an imaginative young girl. Flitting through the sky, crossing a rainbow, dancing around all night with a teacup and a teapot that would never get empty no matter how much you poured out of it. With a flourish of her staff, the stars in the sky would become candy and pour down, and flowers that produced sweets would bud by the roadside. To Maria, witches were the only concept that could embody the magical dream that so captivated her. As she grew older, it was the last remaining thing that could give richness to her dull and plain everyday life. That's why Maria believed in witches. She didn't want that dream of hers to be tarnished. That's why she didn't want anyone to tarnish the epitaph, which affirmed the existence of witches. Because the witch named Beatrice is Maria's dream. To Maria Chan, the epitaph isn't a guide to the hidden gold, but magic to revive the witch. So it was the single link between Maria and the witch. Maria was very angry and clung to George Aniki. Jessica and I scratched our heads and apologized. It might not be possible to smooth things over again like the time she got mad in front of the portrait. Maria didn't seem willing to be easily consoled. Unlike Jessica and I, who hung our heads wondering what to do, Shannon Chan timidly opened her mouth.
Um, Mario-sama, did you know? There's a ghost story about Beatrice that has been passed down amongst the servants.
Yeah, that's right. Shannon, tell us about it. I don't really know, but it's apparently pretty famous amongst the servants. What is this? What is this? Crossover episode? Sorry. had to do a BoJack Horseman reference. What is this, a ghost
BoJack
story?
Horseman reference in Umineko?
Rehab was supposed to be a fresh start!
I'm going through BoJack Horseman rehab all the time.
Yeah, it seems it's a story from before we were born. I also heard about it from my mother.
Yes, it has been passed down since time of the mansion's construction. The servants of that time whispered that the mansion had two masters. One of the day, one of the night.
The tale that Shannon told was just like a typical campfire ghost story. If there was a forest with a witch living inside it, and of course the witch would come pay the mansion a visit from time to time. At some point, this ghost story naturally sprouted up between the servants.
When people do the rounds a second time to check doors, windows, and locks that were supposedly
Yep, sorry. There we go.
closed, they'd find some of them left open. Lights that were supposed to be off were turned on, and lights that were supposed to be on went out. Things left lying around would disappear, and things would appear when no one had any memory of putting them there. When any of these things happened, the old servants would say that the witch had visited the mansion, invisible, and was playing pranks. Ugh! See? She exists. Beatrice exists.
Yeah, she exists. Long ago, it was always right before leaving for school that I wasn't able to find my bag and stuff. Maria puffed out her chest with an ooh, as though this was final proof of the witch's existence. If I opened my mouth, Maria would probably be hurt again, so I didn't. I mean, you hear this kind of story everywhere. Depending on the place, they might blame it on a dwarf or an elf. The only difference is that they call it a witch on this island. Of course, walking around a vast, elegant mansion at night would be a little unsettling. It's an island devoid of people. Since the mansion is so drafty, walking around on the night of a thunderstorm would certainly be eerie.
In addition, some servants have also seen the will-o-wisps and glittering butterflies dancing around. Kanon-kun also saw something like that when he went patrolling one night. And recently, you often hear servants talking about strange footsteps heard inside the mansion near midnight. We whispered together that the Beatrice-sama in the portrait sometimes makes herself invisible and walks through the mansion. It happened a while ago. But even I have heard footsteps while patrolling at night that resemble these stories.
Whew, that's scary.
But there's nothing to be afraid of. Beatrice-sama is another ruler of this mansion, separate from the master. So there's no need to be unnaturally afraid. If you respect her, I hear she won't do anything bad.
Well, I have a hard time respecting people, so... However, she can be quite terrifying if you don't respect her, right?
Correct. I've heard that just before I began working here, someone who spoke badly about Beatrice-sama fell down the stairs and quit after receiving a large injury to their back. Because of that, there is a rumor between the servants that Beatrice-sama's anger had been brought down upon this person. Anger will definitely be brought down on Battler and Jessica.
Yeah, well, I'd like to see her fucking try. I'm sorry! I don't want anger brought down upon me. I apologize, Maria. Of course, I apologize to the witch. I'm sorry, Beatrice-sama. Please forgive an outsider's nonsense. I'll apologize as well. I'm sorry, Beatrice-sama. Will the witch be able to forgive us now?
Don't know.
Witches are fickle, so they forgive when they want to, and don't when they don't. Mm.
That's no good. Maria-chan, isn't there some kind of good luck charm that could prevent Bat Lagoon and Jessica-chan from suffering Beatrice-sama's wrath? Maybe something that could block against magic? By relying on Maria, who was proud of knowing the most about witches, George was trying to revive her self-esteem. Once again, I've got to admire his ability to calm kids down. After taking a moment to cross her arms and seriously ponder whether there might be a charm that could save us, she started flipping through the pages in her notebook. I thought it was just a scribbled diary. There also seems to be quite a few pages that look like they come from a book on black magic. Maria solemnly considered a group of these pages, which contained things that looked like magic circles. Apparently, grandfather wasn't the only one with a black magic hobby. When Maria finally found what she was looking for, she snapped the notebook shut and threw it into her handbag. She then began fishing through that bag's contents. There seemed to be various jumbled up things in there. After a while, she took out various pieces of junk, although they were probably important magical items to Maria, and repeatedly threw them back in, saying they were wrong. It was all a little humorous, just like when Doraemon took out the wrong tool. Finally, she seemed to discover what she was looking for. With a face that was unimaginably cheery when compared to the intense expression she had worn until now, she held those out to Jessica and me.
Mm.
I grabbed it, and saw that it was a very cheap-looking charm. It looked like a bracelet made from a plastic rosary, with a scorpion-themed medal attached. Have you ever seen those cheap Zodiac-themed accessories? The kind you might win in a crane game at an arcade? It really looked like something like that. There were two of them. Probably one for me and one for Jessica. However, the very fact that there were two of them made them feel even more like cheap manufactured goods. I think it's pretty hard to think of them as magical items. You're giving these to me and Battler?
With these charms, you don't even need to worry about Beatrice. Because scorpions have the power to ward off magic.
Huh, really? Didn't know scorpions could do that.
Battler doesn't believe.
I said too much and angered Maria again. Maria took out her notebook again, pointing out various pages as she went on and on about how the scorpion had such incredibly holy power that it had been used in magic-repelling magical circles since ancient times. I thought that was going to be Maria took out her notebook again and wrote my name on a list that's titled "To Kill."
Wow. I've heard about that from some of the other young servants. Something about how the scorpion is drawn as a magic-repelling symbol in sorcery.
Huh, really?
The scorpion protects against bad magic and calamity. An emerald brings peace to the heart. Therefore, its effects are twofold.
It's true. The scorpion wraps around the emerald and protects it. Yes, it certainly does sound like it'd work well. I really wanted to make fun of those worthless-looking charms. But as I watched Maria explaining it with all of her heart and realized that she'd found them for our sakes, I started to feel like it might actually work, even if it was just a pride from some game center. The material quality of the charm didn't matter. What mattered was the strength of her feelings. Even I don't think of myself as the sort of loser who'd laugh at something like that. Okay, thank you. I apologize to Beatrice-sama, but even if I do end up getting cursed, I'll be safe now thanks to Maria's charm. Right, Jessica? Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Maria.
Wear it on your arm when you want your heart to be at peace. Put it in your wallet and your money won't decrease. If you hang it from a doorknob, bad things can't get in. It's a really convenient charm. What an incredible effect.
Do you think if I wrapped that bracelet around my knuckles, Scorpion Charm facing out, and punch Beatrice and do more damage?
That's a great question.
I'm asking the real questions here. The most efficient way to beat the shit out of a witch.
Might protect you from your knuckles getting
Yeah.
like busted. What an incredible effect. If Maria-sama gives it her confident seal of approval, then it surely must be reliable.
Shannon-chan clapped her hands together, and Maria stuck out her chest. She was totally in a good mood again. It's probably best if we let her lead the conversation a bit longer, if it'll keep her in such a good mood. Come to think of it, she looked a bit bored when we were getting excited about the hidden gold. Probably because she couldn't keep up. While eating the cookies Kumasawa-san had baked, Jessica and I asked Maria this and that about black magic. Maria happily chatted away in response to our questions. Each time, George Aniki and Shannon-chan would act surprised or chime in. The clouds in the sky grew darker and darker, but we cousins really enjoyed communicating freely after a year of separation. Did I just feel a drop on my forehead? Huh? I wonder. As George Aniki rubbed his forehead, he looked up at the sky. Considering the color of the sky and the dampness of the air, it wouldn't have been odd for a raindrop to hit him. The wind also seemed to have grown a bit stronger.
I didn't feel a drop. Only I didn't.
Don't worry, neither did I. Anyway, I'm sure it'll rain so much tonight that everyone will get to feel plenty of raindrops. That's right. Maybe we should head back soon. Shannon-chan looked down at her watch. It was probably well into the evening by now. Is it already time for you to return to your work?
Yes. Thank you very much for allowing me to enjoy some time together with you all.
Tell Kumasawa-san thanks for the cookies. Okay, everyone, help out with the cleanup. Shannon-chan declined our help, saying that this was a servant's job. But picking up a dropped fork before the waitress has to is like my purpose in life. We folded up the blanket, gathered up the trash, and helped clean everything up.
The trash is getting away.
I won't let it escape. I'll grab it before Maria does.
I'll grab it.
I'd like to see you fucking try. Maria, don't get your shoes wet. You'll get in trouble. To Maria, chasing after some trash sent flying by the powerful winds was just another game. By the time we finished, the wind was blowing pretty strongly. Probably a good time to head back.
You've all helped me out a lot. Thank you very much.
It looks like you're really out of time. It's okay if you head back first. George Aniki perceived from her hurried appearance that very little of her free time was left. Genji-san's very strict about time. If you don't show up where you're supposed to be at the right time, I bet he'll be pissed. We'll see you later. Do your best with your work.
Yes. Then, if you'll excuse me.
After making a respectful bow, Shannon-chan ran towards the rose garden. Okay, let's head back to the guest house. You can watch TV or something, relax a little.
Wanna watch TV?
Then it's decided. Let's all head back and watch TV together. Maria, who wasn't done having fun, agreed once television was mentioned. We climbed up the gentle stairs and returned to the rose garden. Damn. The wind had grown very strong, and roses shook throughout the garden like ripples on the water. This might be our last chance to see these beautiful roses. I'll bet tonight's typhoon ruins them. These roses might be done in by tonight's winds. You're right. Still, I think the roses were pretty lucky. After all, they got to welcome all of you before the typhoon. All flowers lose their petals eventually, but that means we can admire them even more when they're in bloom. That's right. Maria, burn this image into your eyes. This moment are the best roses of the year.
Burnt into eyes.
Right then, Maria suddenly clapped her hands. It looked like she remembered something.
My typhoon will send it flying.
Oh, you mean that sad-looking rose George on a key marked with a ribbon? Maria apparently remembered where the rose was. She ran at full speed. The rest of us followed her. Where was that again? I'm sure it was somewhere around here. We searched everywhere around that area, but it was only a single flower among all of these roses after all. Even though we knew it was somewhere but close by, we weren't able to find it. The winds making up the typhoon's front lines made roses throughout the garden undulate. It was almost like it was teasing us by making the location of Maria's rose impossible to find. Maybe it wasn't here. Let's try spreading out a bit in our search. Sounds good. Let's go for the strength in numbers. Huh? What's up, Maria? As we made to split up and search, Maria tugged at my jacket with an unhappy face. You could tell she didn't want us to leave that spot. What is it? What's wrong?
My rose here. Here.
But it's actually not, right? Maybe it was on the other side of the flower bed. If we all look, we'll find it fast, okay?
It's here. My rose is here. Look for it. Look for it.
Maria stomped her feet in irritation. She pointed at that spot and said it was definitely here, but in actuality, it wasn't. Even so, Maria got mad when we said we were going to search elsewhere. We were at a loss for what to do. For a while, we had to stay near Maria and pretend to search through that rose thicket.
Not here. Not here. Here.
Maybe she's saying that it should be here, but it isn't. Maria became increasingly irritated. Oh man, Maria's really losing her temper. Sometimes Maria starts to really care about really pointless stuff. If she gets what she wants, that's okay, but... You can't find something that isn't there. That's not good. Just when we were at a loss of what to do, Maria called out in a loud voice.
Mom.
We could see Aunt Rosa in the direction Maria was waving her hand. Maybe she wanted to look at the garden one more time before the typhoon came. Or maybe she had some business at the guest house. Aunt Rosa was coming from the mansion. She quickly noticed her daughter's voice and came over. My, what happened, everyone? Are you looking for something?
Look for it. Mama, you look for my rose too.
Your rose? We found an unhealthy rose around here and marked it. We tied a candy wrapper around it. But, Maria, if I remember correctly, it was growing right in front and really stood out, didn't it? Unless it grew legs and ran off somewhere, it must have been somewhere else. Maybe you remembered it wrong.
It is here. It is here. Adler doesn't believe.
How many times do I have to tell you to stop saying ooh before you understand? Mama will look for it, so stay quiet. I never seen Aunt Rosa be anything other than a kind and gentle, so her anger surprised me a bit. Aunt Rosa began searching as well, so we went along with her for the time being. But we were already more than sure it wasn't around here. So it didn't take long for Aunt Rosa to realize that too. The rose isn't here. Did you mistake this place for somewhere else? There are so many roses around.
Mm, that's wrong. It is here. Mama doesn't believe. Mm,
I already believed you and looked hard for it, didn't I? But it isn't here.
mm, but it is here. It is here, but it isn't. Mm,
Then someone must have ripped it out. Anyway, stop saying ooh.
mm. Who ripped out my rose? Who did? Give it back. Give it back. Mm,
How should I know? Stop it. Stop saying ooh. That did make me jump. Child abuse jump scare.
That actually kind of lagged for me, so.
Aunt Rosa slapped Maria's left cheek with her palm. That instant, Maria was shocked into silence. Of course, it was only for an instant. When Maria realized that her wish was being rejected, she started yelling even louder.
mm, mm. My rose. My rose. Mm,
Didn't I tell you to stop that weird habit? That's why all the kids in your class make fun of you. Cut it out! Once again, her palm slapped Maria's cheek. This time, she didn't go silent. She choked as she started crying, and began to bawl in an increasingly loud voice. Aunt Rosa was clearly irritated and lifted her hand once more to try and shut her daughter up. Aunt Rosa! Now, she's just a little kid, so there's no reason to get so serious. I tried to cut in with a bitter smile, rubbing my hands together, but Aunt Rosa glared at me with a serious face, and I realized that I should have stayed out of this. I'm sorry, but could the rest of you go back to your room for a bit? I need to have a little talk with Maria.
Nobody believes in my rose, even though it was here. Mm, look for it. Look for it. Here. It was here. Mm,
But it's not here, so you must have confused this place with somewhere else, right?
mm, mm. It is here. It's definitely here. Mm,
Then it disappeared. Give it up.
why? Why did it disappear? Why? Why? Mm,
I don't know that, so stop saying ooh. Aunt Rosa once again raised her hand, overcome by emotion, and slapped Maria's cheek. It was strong enough to knock Maria over. Hey, Aunt Rosa, even if she is your daughter, violent isn't the answer. I stepped between them to protect Maria, who was still on the ground crying ooh ooh. I knew that, as an outsider, problems between parent and child were none of my business. But I wasn't brought up to just silently observe something like this. Don't you think it's weird, Battler-kun? Are there any girls at your school who mutter ooh ooh? Well, I am in high school, but for an elementary schooler, I think saying ooh is pretty cute. Cute? Saying ooh is cute? Cute? My careless words seemed to have earned me Aunt Rosa's wrath. She grabbed my collar with a terrifying expression. Don't say such nonsense! Do you know how old Maria is? She's 9! She's a 4th grader, not a kindergartner, but she still makes that sound during class. Don't you get it? Do you know what they say about this kid when they bully her? Thanks to this weird habit, she still hasn't made a single friend. Don't turn your eyes from reality and carelessly call Maria cute. Think more seriously about this kid's future. I told you stop making that sound! Didn't I tell you to stop it? Aunt Rosa struck Maria's quivering head, from which an increasingly unhappy voice was rising.
You know, I think it's more on the other kids that she doesn't have friends.
Yeah. I tried to stop it, but Aunt Rosa pushed me away. My back hit George Aniki. Oh god, this is a very serious part to do with stupid stoner voice. A long time ago, Aunt Rosa also thought of it as nothing more than one of Maria-chan's baby words. But now that it hasn't been fixed even midway through elementary school, she's been worrying about it a lot. How she talks isn't really that big of a deal, right? She'll never make it as an adult if she's like that. So even though it isn't fun to watch, this is a problem between parent and child. Well, even I get chewed out by my mom all the time because of how I talk. When they put it that way, maybe even a scene as painful as this isn't something an outsider like me should butt in on. Bathercoon, when you were a kid, didn't you have any bad habits that you couldn't fix that got you into trouble? Well, one or two. On Parents' Day once, I kept getting yelled at in front of everyone. It was embarrassing as all hell. Well, then you can understand how the two of them must feel right now. I'm sure they don't want us to be here right now. Okay, fucking centrist.
He is totally a centrist.
You understand too, don't you, Jessica-chan? I don't think anyone likes to be seen when they're being scolded. Let's go. We'll return to the guest house. Then after Maria-chan comes back, let's welcome her as if nothing happened. That's probably for the best, isn't it? It isn't. We thought George Anaki's point was probably a reasonable one, and we may have been eager to use that reasonable-sounding argument as justification to retreat from this heart-rending scene. Jessica and I nodded at George Anaki, and we all left. We called towards Maria, telling her that we were going to head to the guest house. But she didn't seem to hear, and we felt sort of guilty and shameless after saying it. In that case, look by yourself as much as you want. Mama doesn't care.
I'll look for it. I'll look for it by myself. Even if Mama doesn't care.
Have it your way! After blasting her with those last few words, Rosa spun on her heels and quickly returned to the mansion. Maria probably viewed that as a cold gesture meant to injure, but that wasn't Rosa's intention. It was because the hand with which she had so emotionally struck Maria's cheek was still numb. It was because if she stayed there screaming, she might again be taken over by her emotions and continue slapping her daughter's cheek over and over. After Rosa left, Maria was left alone in the rose garden. The wind began to blow stronger and stronger, and every once in a while, a raindrop would fall on her head. However, Maria couldn't leave that place. Not until she found that poor wilting rose. It had definitely been there. Even so, it wasn't. Even though she knew the place and even thought it had been there, it wasn't. Maria bitterly stared at the place it was supposed to be and thought frantically. Maybe the angle I'm looking from is wrong. Maybe the height I'm looking from is wrong. While gazing at a single point, Maria repeatedly stood up, changed her position, and continued her stare. The wind was getting stronger and stronger, but Maria kept on looking for that rose in front of the flower bed. Well, that was a very intense and dark part. So I think we deserve a little break. I'm thinking we stop there.
Yeah, all right.
And also, as another little break, to break the tension.
I knew you were gonna use some kind of sound.
Did I jump scare you with Buddy Holly?
No. I was expecting something like this.
God, that's a
And I'm
bad.
gonna need the I'm gonna need the break because I've done enough Kenzo voice today.
Yeah. God, that was I hate that part. I hate that part so much.
Yeah.
Hot take. Don't hit your kids.
Wow, that's really controversial.
That's my hot take of the day. Anyway, thanks for joining us for Umineko. Bye.
Bye.